Previously, on keeping up with the Kenya Kwanza government.
This is a very serious issue. I mean, the number of people that have died are so many that it should prick the conscience of any right-thinking leader in this country.
Being President William Ruto must feel like running a three-legged race, blindfolded on a slippery slope. While he is tirelessly working to cement his legacy as the transformative leader of Kenya, a rogue wave within his own camp threatens to erode the very foundation he is trying to build. And leading this inconvenient rebellion is none other than Public Service CS Justin Muturi, who by all indications seems to have been handpicked by the gods to sabotage Ruto's 2027 ambitions.
I, Justin Bidan Joka Muturi, being appointed the Cabinet Secretary of Kenya.
Muturi, a seasoned legal mind and a former Attorney General, is not playing by the script. His simmering anger boiled over after the abduction and subsequent release of his son, Leslie Muturi, during the Gen Z protest, an incident that, despite its gravity, has been met with deafening silence from the president.
And it is not right that parents like these ones and relatives can stay for periods in excess of 40 days looking for their loved young ones. And we sit somewhere claiming that we are discussing matters about the economy of this country. Economy for who? If we are killing them, abducting and killing the young ones, so who are you doing the economy for?
A former Attorney General calling out a sitting president over security failures, that's the kind of political drama even our forefathers would envy.
This matter needs to be taken with the seriousness that it deserves. And you know, I said, I was lucky that when my son was abducted, I was able to reach the president, and he immediately ordered Nuruddin Haji to release him. And Nuruddin, went ahead and released him. How about these parents and relatives who cannot reach the president? It is something that is so serious that we must shelve all other things that we are doing.
Muturi has tried all the legal tricks in his playbook, raising alarms, making calls, and demanding accountability. But all these pleas have been met with a stone-cold wall of indifference from State House.
Ayub, if I am fired for speaking against abductions and extrajudicial killings in this country, which is unconstitutional, and which we as a government campaigned and very vehemently, repeatedly vowed that it will never happen at our watch, so be it.
The frustration reached its peak when he took his anger to prime-time television, publicly declaring that he would no longer attend cabinet meetings in protest.
Let me say, in my case, I have written and sought to be excused from attending cabinet meetings until or unless the agenda of abductions in the country and extrajudicial killings is formally tabled before cabinet through a cabinet memorandum, so that the cabinet, as the highest decision-making body, is able to express itself and give the country the way forward with regard to those two issues of abductions and extrajudicial killings. I have sought to be excused for those reasons.
Okay. Now, that's a political mic drop moment if ever there was one. Attending cabinet meetings is a mandatory unless executed by the president. I have formally written and requested to be excused from attending these meetings until or unless the issue of abductions and extrajudicial killings is officially tabled before cabinet through a cabinet memorandum, Muturi declared.
Discussing this issue of abductions and extrajudicial killings, I have written and said, if Cabinet of Kenya cannot express itself, debate and give a way forward on these issues, then it runs the risk of being condemned as being complicit or as condoning the abductions and extrajudicial killings.
And if that wasn't enough to shake things up, he went a step further, issuing a 30 days notice to pull out his party out of the Kenya Kwanza coalition, citing irreconcilable political differences. In a letter to the Registrar of Political Parties, his camp stated that remaining in the alliance was simply no longer viable. Kindly take notice that our stay in Kenya Kwanza coalition is no longer tenable due to the prevailing political developments, the letter read in part. Now the burning question is, why is President Ruto, a leader who prides himself on decisiveness, allowing this political grenade to roll around unchecked? Now, critics argue that firing Muturi outright would be playing into his hands, giving him the martyrdom card he seems to be itching for.
Stay or not stay in cabinet is the prerogative of the appointing authority. So I don't know how much long I'm likely to last in cabinet. That is entirely the prerogative of the president, and so I have no illusions about how long I could stay. When I took up this job, I was well aware of those provisions of the Constitution, and so I'm alive to that. So whatever happens, it's purely on the basis of what the president desires.
The more Muturi pokes, the harder it gets for Ruto to ignore him without appearing weak. On the flip side, some insiders believe Muturi's public outbursts are a well-calculated strategy, a political bait designed to force Ruto into an overreaction. Now, if President Ruto shows him the door, Muturi could easily spin it into a persecution narrative, gaining sympathy as he eyes a gubernatorial bid in Embu County.